Right, hey guys, just a few product reviews. Now, the pond that I'm on at the minute, over there we're feeding the particles, and I'd got some of the fake corn that ESP done. It's rubbish, and it don't float. It just don't float. So when I got back, I thought there's got to be a way, mate, duplicating maize, but in boiler form. I found this from cut tail baits, and it's a lovely little punch. What you do is you just roll your paste out to whatever thickness you want, preferably the thickness of a piece of maize, really, like, but I won't be doing that at all. I'll be doing it to that thickness, simply because the hooks that I use size 6, so there's quite a lot of metal to them. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to punch them out with this, and then I'm going to put a small serrated bit round with a knife, so it looks like a double stack of maize. Now I think that's mainly for me, just so it looks like 2 pieces of maize, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I've got to admit, I'm really happy with that. In fact, I may do it a little bit thinner and I'll just use 2 pieces of it. But the way you can see it there is the way I will mount it on the hook. It'll actually sit on the hook like that. So yeah, I really do like that. Great little thing. Lovely idea as well, whoever come up with it. I mean, a simple idea like that is probably making some serious coin off it, and but it's a great idea, really is. We can society goes back together. Nice and compact, really nice. Cut tail baits, get on it. Right then. So I tested these earlier. Now they're a hook that I've used, but a very long time ago. These gardener ones. I once had one actually snap on me at Motlands. Now I'm not sure whether it was just a one-off or what, but if something happens like that with me, I tend to really think they're all going to do it. Every hook on it in packet's going to do it. So I moved over to a Ridge Monkey, and I really do like their hooks. But I thought the other day when I was fishing, I didn't realise it was a barbless rule only. So just as I was setting up, I thought I'll have a look, and I had a look and it said barbless hooks only. So that was a bit of a conundrum for me, really, because I didn't have none in my box, and it said that you weren't allowed to crimp the barb down. So luckily old Steve says I've got some barbless that he can borrow, and he borrowed me some fox. Now I didn't get to put them through the paces. I've never used them before, fox armour points, never ever used that hook pattern before, and I do like how they look really nice, but I didn't really get to put them, I didn't get a tech on any of them rods. Now the rod that I did get a tech on, which I was fishing another thing that I'd like to have shown you really, but it's they're actually on my rods now. It's a boom, a Gemini boom. Now it's on my YouTube channel. If you check my YouTube channel out, you'll see them. They are absolutely worth every single penny. They're really good. I love the way that either end of it, the loops are fused, so there's no knots, and the swivel's incorporated, which means that that boom's going to last you for a very long time. So now I fished it as a running rig on a lead clip, and all I did was the swivels I ordered on the Gemini boom was actually, I ordered the wrong size. So they came as like a micro swivel in between, like a medium sized swivel. But what I found is it only just grabbed the leg clip that we're using. So when I tested it and I lifted the rig up and just shook it, the lead automatically come come off and slid up mainline. So I was fishing with a running rig. So I thought I'll leave it, see what happens. It's a long time since I fished with one of them. I was still fishing the normal rigs I usually fish, which is the rig that I come up with in first lockdown, which is the multi-hinge rig. Just a multi-rig tied with either Coda's mouth trap, or I've been using RM Tech, the Chad Link. And it's the minute fish exits head, the lead just comes out of clip and it slides down main line. So when they're doing all this, they've got no pivoting point. There's no, because it's a barbless rule. I don't want that lead to still be attached round about here when it's flipping its head from side to side, because it's only got to do it in a downward motion, and it would be quite easily for that hook to come out, and more than likely you catch them again in mouth, but I don't like doing that. I'd much rather just nail them once, you know what I mean? So I went over to that, and they were typical running rig text. It was just a couple of dit 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 dit, and that was the fish picking the rig up, realising it were in deep shit, checking its head, that lead slipping away from it, and it thinking, what am I going to do here? So it's bolted. Nah, it didn't bolt very far. It bolted about 12 foot to a more denser set of pads. Now, when I very first got there, I didn't know what to do about that pad bit, because the fish, the noises that I were hearing during the night were incredible. It sounded like someone were chucking a bag of sand in. Now, to me, I've had a lot of people saying to me that the fish in there are only a certain size and all that. Listen, a couple of them fish I heard bosh out that night, and I've been fishing me since I was 17 years old, and I'm nearly 50 now. They weren't no low dubs or even mid 20s. They was decent fish, not big, probably around about 25, 28 pound, 29 pound, and it's because that's the size that the saying's in there now. If that's the case, then I had the big one in my swim for pretty much the whole of the second day, because it kept coming fully out of the water and back down. But through the night, it was going ballistic, to the point where I thought at one point, I'm going to reel in. I think they're spawning. I was convinced they were spawning. So I had a walk down, and I had a good look round, and it weren't spawning at all. What they were doing is, they were sucking underneath the pads, and you could hear them underneath pads, and they were just sucking all insect life from underneath pads, and then they were going down into the silt and feeding in silt. Now you could see the cloudiness at water, so all it were doing is it were coming up and it were blowing the silt out of its gill plates, just clearing its gill plates really, so it didn't get no insects or anything like that hanging onto its gill plates. They often do it. So that were a little bit of a test really. And I'd had my line on for, I tell Steve a year, it weren't a year. I had a look of a day, and I probably had that line on now for about 4 or 5 months. Now I fished with it 3 times, and it's not the condition. The condition of it is bang on, and I think it's £12. The condition is bang on. It's still in really, really good nick. It's not like new really, but it's just, I know I'm going to be fishing in pads a lot this year, so I've upped it. Now it's £14 that I've gone with. That's the heaviest line I've used in a very, very long time. That is. I can normally get them at wherever I'm fishing, and the depth of the water where them pads are. Worst comes to worst, I'll get in edge and just even if it's a little bit deeper further out, I've got that 12-inch reach of my rod to get the rod directly above them to get them to come straight up in the water rather than at an angle. But funny enough, I managed to drag it straight out of there, and the fish must have wondered what I'd hit it, because the minute it were hooked, it were pretty much hit net a few seconds later. It weren't on very long at all, and it was just when I went to go down to lift net up, to lift it out, it went ballistic. So I think it was a bit what's just happened, you know what I mean? But it was a good take, best take I've had in a very, very long time anyway, and he took right off rest. Now, I was fishing, don't be thinking that that's dangerous fishing. There's no danger, I don't fish dangerously at all. I'd got a bank stick down one side of me rather than one down the other. So even if that fish had gone in an angle that my clutch weren't going to go, the only thing that could have gone is the rod. It could have snapped, and then I would have just been left with, I always put the bank sticks in, the snag bars, what I use, an angle that you've got your bottom section of your rod, if your rod does go, so you know that there's no way that bottom rod's going to go. Now, I played a rod, funny enough, I played a fish, a 26-pound fish on a Drayton reservoir on a rod that once went on me, a black widow, and it snapped into pieces, right? Bits of it went all on. I landed that fish. Now, I landed it by holding the top section on to the bottom section, and it was hard work, but I got it done in the end anyway. So now the other thing is, these are a nook that I really used to like. Now they're captors by Coda. Now they got a really, with me they ain't got a good name now, Codas, I will be perfectly honest with you. But I've gone for every single one of these hooks, and every single one of them's razor sharp. So I don't know if they've done something about it, and they've started more looking at their hook sharpness more closely, and by that I mean inspection wise. I wonder if they've started, once the patterns are done, if they've started picking the odd pack up and testing them out to see if they're sharp. But I ordered 3 packs of them, and every single hook sharp. Now that tells me that they've definitely changed something. Now it don't matter to me if these hooks, I'm very funny about the sharpness of my hook, and to the extreme of, most people will pull one of these out of here and think they're razor sharp. To me, they ain't razor sharp. Razor sharp is when you've had a fish on it and it'll burr over a little bit. I like to take the hooks to a point where there's no return. If after that fish there's no return for that hook, it's a done hook. It will bowl over. But yeah, I'm really liking them. They're a thicker gauge steel. So it's all really forward thinking about getting them out of them pads, and it's I'm gonna give them a go. I'm definitely gonna give them a go, because I've done well on them in the past. I did well on them at Rover Valley years ago when they very first come out, but they were a lot more than $1.99 a pack, and that's how much I paid for these. So yeah, that's 3 packs of them. But that's what most of my fishing is going to be done on there, and that is the covert dark muggers. I really do like them. The qualityness of steel, it's a nice thick steel, and I really do like these hooks. They're nice hooks. Every one of them's razor sharp, and I think that they'll be deadly in conjunction with pop-ups that with the pop-ups I'm going to roll, the maize pop-ups. I think they'll be deadly. Now I will be fishing with over particles, mainly particles, but there will be pineapple and butyric acid, and this time I'm going to take banoffee with me as well, because I want to get them onto banoffee as well, because I've got quite a bit of banoffee in freezer what I roll for treating, so I want to really get them onto that. So we'll just see how we go, but so far so good on there, on Ravensfield, guys. I'm impressed with fish. They're absolutely beautiful fish, and they're right up my street as well, the dark and the mirrors. So it's all been good. Young'un sent me a load of photos yesterday as well of fish that him and Damien had to Ravensfield when they were, remember. Now they had 16 fish in one day at a Joel out of Ravensfield, but I never knew that. It not put them fish onto social media or anything like that, so I'd not seen them. You know what I mean? When they were fishing on Ravensfield, I weren't doing Ravensfield, so I didn't really get to see much of fishy caught on there. And he had some really nice fish out there. Fish up to £26, I think they had. Our Damien had one at 26, I think, and our Joel had a couple at 24. So they're nice fish, they're nice old fish, and weight's really don't come into it when it comes to it. But yeah, I'm slowly getting geared now towards this place, and it's all about preparation. So it's once you're 100% committed to a place, and I've also already got I joined it to catch free fish, and funny enough, I caught one of them on my first session, and that was a fish with the big round scale on its side. I really liked the look of that fish, and it was one of the fish that were in top 3 that I wanted to catch. Now there's a common in there as well, and there's a really dark mirror that we called banana fish, and that one's just like a really odd shape. It's just a big U shape, big underslung mouth, beautiful fish. I think it was about 24, 26 pound. So hopefully that's the main fish I'm after. And there's also, like I said, that common as well, which I can go for that. So, but any that come along are welcome. But so far so good. Everything I've ordered has been bang on today. So there you go, guys. Check later.